Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Air Kitty. Happy season of Spoops. So, you may be wondering why it's so freaking dark in here. That's because it is. This video, I'm gonna challenge myself to do it entirely in the dark. I mean, I feel like we've done this before with some other things, but nothing that was an actual horror game. Kind of. Halloween themed. That one, yeah. But it's a little unnerving at the moment because my back is towards my empty bedroom. So, yeah. Really hope nothing is behind me. Or in the room with me. What was that? I think I hear something in the room with me, guys. Oh my god. It sounds feral. Oh my god. Oh my god! It's just Olaf. Okay, so the game we are going to be playing today is an old Neopets game. Some of you who were around during the early 2000s may actually remember this game. Some of you that are newer probably won't actually, and so this will probably be new for you. But so I remember playing this game about 8-10 years old. And I remember this game being thoroughly creepy. Like, even by Neopet standard. So that's why in some ways I'm playing in the dark. One, to give myself that creep factor, but also just to see, does this game live up, even like 20 years later, basically? Is it still thoroughly creepy? The answer is probably yes, because I'm a baby. I have learned that I'm not as brave as I was as a child, because now I know things can kill me. When you're a child and you're young, you don't think anything's gonna kill you. When you're an adult and you're bedridden from throwing or straining your shoulder or something like that, you realize you can die. Things can kill you. Being dramatic, but still. When you realize that there are actual real threats in life, yeah, things look a lot creepier. So also, I am also going to be keeping that light on, the ring light in the background. The only reason why is because, not necessarily for any comfort, though it is comforting. It is very comforting, warm light. But it is more for myself, so that I don't strain my eyes too hard. Just because, obviously, playing in the dark is quite dangerous, or, it is straining on the eyes. And I don't know how long this video is going to be. But obviously, I'm already facing a lot of problems with my own body because I sit at a computer all day for the last 20 years. So, to not cause any further damage, that's why we're doing it. Stay safe, kids. Even though it's scary out there, take care of yourself and your health. Okay, so the game is all loaded now. So, this is what you got greeted to with the pop-up window that you got, after telling the teacher, like, yeah, I want to venture into a really spooky house after you literally just told me that I'm probably going to die. Yeah, I take that challenge. And so very much like any point-and-click adventure game and choose-your-own-adventure game, so you kind of got a visual here at the top. As it says, this is where the text for the story is located. You can click on the up and down arrows to the right to scroll the text up and down. Try it now. There it is. And then we get some backstory, which I will read here in a moment. And then this thing here is where you got your choices. So, the story of this. The following story takes place on a stormy night in a part of Neopia known as the Forbidden Forest. I actually don't know if that location is still available anymore, or if it was a location that was available, but I think it's just a made-up place in Neopia, as they do. The small village near the forest all have There's really not a lot of space in here, so yeah, you get 2 lines of text and you gotta scroll. All have their stories about ghosts, demons, and other strange and horrible creatures that live in the Forbidden Forest. Fantastic. And no one from any of these villages will ever enter the forest for fear they will never return. Probably a good idea, actually. That's probably a really safe idea. Kids, when people tell you that something is forbidden and that you shouldn't go into it, 9 times out of 10, it's usually there for a reason. It's usually a good idea to follow those instructions. If they tell you your best friend Timmy went somewhere and then never returned, there was a reason for that. Maybe you should not follow in Timmy's footsteps. At least not blindly and without an adult who is going to be there to help you. I'm all about getting to the bottom of stories and mysteries and stuff like that, but don't be stupid about it, okay? So this is the story of 2 pets. So see, don't go in alone. Don't be stupid. You take somebody else. You take a responsible person with you. So there's me, and then we have the responsible one, because I'm not going to be that today. I'm that any other day, but not today. Who decided to brave the forest and find out if all of the scary stories they had heard about it were real. Or simply tales told to little children to keep them from wandering. Again, 9 times out of 10, when your parents tell you not to go somewhere, not to wander somewhere, again, there's usually a good reason. If they tell you not to play in traffic, there's usually a good reason, because you will probably die. So it is up to me, based on my decisions to make, to determine whether or not these 2 brave pets, aka me and the responsible one, will survive the ordeal. Choose wisely. Well, let's get started. Okay. I thought that these little things would start automatically, like, so these images usually have an animation that plays to indicate, like, more variety in the story. And I believe how you activate those animations is through these skulls. Apparently we are Old Man Jenkins and his jalopy just strolling through Neopia at God knows what hour. Fantastic. Glad we specified that. So returning from the small village late at night, you recall the stories that were told to you by the villagers about the old house on the hill. Wasn't there a horror movie called that, House on the Hill or something like that? I mean, I know we got Silent Hill, but I feel like there was an actual horror movie about, like, it was literally just called House on the Hill. People in the village said they have seen strange, spooky things around the house, and late at night, when the wind blows, they can hear eerie moans and horrible screams coming from the dark house. That could be 2 things. Both of which I don't want to walk in on. One of them, actually, you know what? No, both of them will still give me so much trauma that I will need therapy for years. If I live through it. That's the big thing right there. If I live through it. So, I'm intrigued and not intrigued at the exact same time. Okay, but it's raining heavily as you drive down the narrow road. Oddly enough, actually, it is raining at my place, too, so how convenient. I'm in a dark building, it's raining, and I'm scared. You can barely make out the deformed shapes of the trees pressing in on both sides of the road. Am I driving into bushes instead of trees? Maybe that's why they're closing in. Okay, so I have the choice if I can continue down the road or I can pull off the road and wait out the storm. I feel like The responsible one would probably say, let's pull off to the road and wait out the storm. Granted, because again, I am not the responsible one today. Actually, that actually sincerely would not be my answer. Because if there was something coming to attack me, I am more dangerous with the car moving than I am with it parked. But we're gonna pull off to the side and wait out the storm. We're screaming. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna read the text first and then play the animation afterwards, because I feel like the animation's gonna ruin what exactly we're screaming at. You sit in the car with the rain pounding on the metal roof and the twisted branches of the trees scraping on the side of the car. Why did I park this close with my car? That's an expensive fix. A horrible, ghostly white face appears in the window right next to you, and just as quickly disappears. You hear scraping coming from the rear window. Oh, I would have absolutely put that car in reverse and I would have just floored it. You would have probably put it in drive and just gone. I'd been like, oh, no, we're taking care of this problem right now. We're not going to leave this to be a problem. We're going to end this problem. Problem no more. But again, that's what I would do because I'm not the responsible one. So the responsible one would probably say, let's stay in the car where it's safe. Oh wait, we gotta play the... A part of me is wondering why I was so scared of this game as a child, but... Granted, I'm now thinking, I'm like, okay, 2002 technology paired with the fact that I am an impressionable 8-year-old. I absolutely understand why I was terrified. And why I would not play this game at night and I would play it in broad daylight. It also didn't help that at the time, our family computer was downstairs in the basement. Kind of like this situation, it was against a wall with my back not only towards an open room bigger than my bedroom, because it was unfinished like family room down there, so it was huge. There was a window directly behind me at my mother's house. Yeah. And of course, because it's in the basement, it's right against the ground. So yeah, if somebody wanted to come through that window and murder my face off, they could. You know what? I see exactly why I'm absolutely terrified and why I feel so much safer now. The one window that's in this room I can look at and see, and I have blinds for it. Yeah, we were too poor for blinds for those windows. So we just got to look at the pitch black darkness and pray to God that we lived that night. It's terrifying being poor. Okay, but yeah, no, we're gonna stay in the car. Where did we go? As you sit in the car shaking with fear and the scraping noise gets louder and louder. Oh, that's it. We just hear scraping noises. I'm going to assume that we're hiding in the back of the jalopy. Like a bunch of pansies. I'm feeling braver. Let me try again. Sure. So I have a feeling that no matter what you do, no matter if you can just continue down the road or if you stop, get scared, and then go, or if you, I don't know. I think regardless of whatever happens, as long as you continue down the road, you don't like stop or anything like that for too long, we'll say. It still leads you to the same thing. I'm going to kind of test it though. So let's pull off to the side of the road again. And then let's run from the car in terror. Fantastic. So you find an ancient path. It's ancient. The Mayans carved out every single brick on this road. The Mayans don't live in Neopia. It was winding, though, through the gnarled trees. I almost said bushes. It's winding through those as well. The path leads up to a steep hill to a spooky old house, which sits atop the hill watching your approach. Fantastic. The path also continues around the hill away from the old house. So we can go up the path to the house, we can run for the car in terror, or we can continue down the other path and avoid the house entirely. What's the animation for this? Just sounds like a really bad storm night at my house. Nothing scary about that. Actually, what happens if I run for the car in terror? What if I run from the car? Okay. It's the same outcome. So if we wanted to, we can just continue running until dawn and that we'll probably live. I mean, I'm sure the adrenaline from being terrified and the uncomfortable feeling in my pants, the back seat part of my pants, will be enough to keep me up until dawn. Okay, but considering that I believe this is a loop that's wandering the woods, and I think this kind of actually looks like a koogra, considering we have those two animals, Neopets, just wandering around this house, it looks like they're guarding it. Maybe I'm just gonna go around the house and avoid everything. We see a damsel in distress. Maybe a damsel. Maybe a dude in distress? I don't know what the male name for a damsel would be. I don't know what that terminology is. Okay, as you continue along the path, a woman runs up to you screaming, "Help! Help! They have taken my baby, help!" Oh, frick. Baby's good as gone, ma'am, I'm sorry. She points behind you to the old house on top of the hill. "Please go up there and save my baby." Sir, nope, no more dialogue. You know what? If I heard a woman screaming like that at me, I would just... Okay, I wouldn't turn around. I wouldn't take my eyes off of her because if she's screaming like that, like that, she is more than likely probably a demon who is just waiting for me to be unsuspecting and unguarded. And then just gonna eat my face off. So... But you know what? We're not gonna make assumptions here. We're all inclusive here. Maybe it's a rival demon gang that stole her baby or a demon, just a demon gang. Maybe she doesn't have to be part of a demon gang. I don't know. Maybe hell has gangs. So let's keep asking her questions. What does this baby look like? Pray to God she don't look like that, or it don't look like that. I don't know which gender it is. She definitely gonna kill me if I take my eyes off of her. She got the crazy look. You keep asking the woman questions, but she is hysterical. She mutters something about gruesome demons in the old house. She warns you sternly, never walk in the shadows. If you do, they will get you. They live in the shadows. Weird. I can hear my own heartbeat in my ear right now. It's not exactly racing, but it's just kind of pounding at the moment. Like, what the frick is going on? I didn't put anything in my drink. Maybe I should lay off that for a little bit. Yeah. So let's see. So we can go back to the car and wait for the authorities. Or we can head to the house and look for the woman's baby. I say let's go back to the car and wait for the authorities. The authorities are well more equipped than I am. They have guns. I don't. I'm gonna assume the authorities came and got us. Yeah. Baby's fine, I'm sure. And the woman. Definitely sure. Okay, so this time, let's say continue down the road instead. Oh, it is a little different. Okay. Suddenly there's a horrible ghostly face outside the car window. In terror, you swerve into a ditch. The car breaks down. Thinking you may have hit somebody, you look around, but don't see anything but the blackness of the forest around you and the deserted road. The rain is coming down very, very heavy now. Well, granted, I'm sure my car is wrecked, so there's no way I'm driving that out of there anyways. And I have driven through some heavy rain before. Like, literally, try driving on the interstate with rain coming down and you have your wipers going at the highest speed that they can go and you still can't see. Oddly enough, actually, that event happened to me around Halloween weekend. I was actually coming back from my uncle's who was helping me sew my costume together at the time. And I was on the highway, and where my uncle lived at the time, it was about a 30-minute drive. So I had to take the interstate to get home. There was no other way. And I believe all the other roads were flooded. So I was like, fantastic. I have to drive through this, rain and pray to God I don't die on the way home. At one point, I actually did hydroplane a little bit. There was a little connector, like where the road connects a bridge. Not like one that lifts or anything like that, like just a regular bridge. Obviously, there was like a little bit of a puddle in there. And we weren't going that fast. We were only doing 35, 45 on the highway. And I hydroplaned a little bit. Like, I didn't go off the road. I didn't go out of my lane or anything like that. But it was scary because this was a huge car. This was a truck that I was driving. And literally, I just felt the car start kind of moving towards the railing of the bridge. I was like, no! Not today! It was a terrifying experience, actually. I remember I got home. My mom looked at me after I got home. I think I pulled in about maybe like 10, 11 o'clock at night. Because it took me that long to get home. Well, I guess I should say when I left, and I think I probably left around like 8 or 9. I got home about 10 or 11. Because it took that long to get on the highway and then, drive through all of it. And she had the audacity to ask me, did you stop to get gas for the car? I was like, I almost died. No, I didn't stop to get gas. I wouldn't be able to anyways. I couldn't see the gas tank even if I wanted to. So yeah, that's my fun story about my Halloween almost dying in the rain story. Hopefully this... I say it ends similarly. I mean, it ends with me being alive. So we can stay in the car, we can walk to get help. I'm gonna stay in the car. And we've seen this before, so I'm just gonna run in terror. All right. So, let's just go back to here real quick. And we're gonna keep asking the one questions. I don't know if this actually unlocks anything or does anything for us in the story, but I'm just going to do this just so I have the information. And now I'm going to say let's head up to the house to look for the woman's baby. We're going to be chivalrous about this now. We are at the door. As you approach the forbidding entrance. Wouldn't foreboding be a better word to put here instead of forbidding? Anyways, to the old house, you hear rustling coming from the bushes next to the massive wooden door. The door to the house appears to be slightly ajar and could easily be pushed open. Investigate the noises in the bushes, push open the door and walk in, or knock on the door. If detective shows have told me anything, if a door is ajar and is unlocked and you can just walk right in, it's never usually a good sign. It usually means something bad went down. So instead, I'm gonna investigate the bushes. Oh. Peering into the bushes, you discover a trapdoor and steps leading down into the dank, rotting cellar below. Rainwater cascades down upon you from the rooftop above. Okay. So I can go back and walk into the house. I can also try and knock on the door. I can go down the stairs, or I can go into the backyard. Oh, also. You know what, the fact that just opened up on its own, I'm just gonna walk past that and go into the backyard. Oh, fantastic. In the backyard of the old house, you see a very large fountain filled with black, slimy water. Further back, you see some large, rusted metal cages, giving that part of the yard the look of someone's personal zoo. I don't know what Neopet makes that noise. Or Pet either. But I can only assume it's good news. Magic Fountain doesn't exactly spell good news to me. Zoo's a good place, though. Zoos are nice. Nothing bad usually happens at a zoo. It's an abandoned zoo, too, so I mean, it's not like there's any animals in there, right? Right? Oh. Those are some big cougaras. The closer you get to the cages, the more detail you can see through the dark, misty air. Like old, moldy bark on the ground. Tall, rusting, open cages that are used to contain large animals. The cages open! At this time, you realize that these tigers have not been fed since 1850. The end. 1850. That's about 170 years. Oh. We were eated. I didn't mean to feed the tigers, but they just kind of fed themselves, so try again. Yes, okay, well, I'm gonna get back to where the door was. And then I'll continue from there. Okay. So... I remember I didn't play the animation for this. That sounds like lab equipment. So it sounds like someone's doing experiments in the bushes. You know what? I feel like exploring the house actually was a better idea because I think the house eventually led you to the backyard if you did it right. I'm only trying to remember what exactly I did as a kid. But I can tell you right now that I've never finished this game. And I was convinced as a child there was no way to win this game. Like I said, they were just all bad endings. So we're just gonna push open that door and look in. Oh. You push open the door and you bravely walk into the dark house. You hear the rapid scraping of tiny feet upon the worn wooden floors. Oh, fantastic mice. And the sound of clanking teeth from somewhere above you. Spiders descend, wrap you both up in their webs, and prepare for dinner. The end. I got eaten by spiders. That is probably the worst way for me to go, at least. And I'm like, for the love of God, I would not want to go that way. Because obviously, if I come back as a ghost, that's where my body, or that's where my soul gets to stay. Because I mean, again, following... I say this as if this is written in stone, like this is the science to it. But following traditional lore about, you know, when people die and they're ghosts and where they are, you know, they either attach to the place where they last died, or they attach to their body, and neither one of those places, you know, or neither one of those things are moving at any time soon, so that means I'm stuck in that stupid house with man-eating spiders. Fantastic. Don't you know you should always knock first? Try again. Okay, let's knock this time. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna push it open. Oh. I guess it's not as creepy because the spider only has 2 eyes like I do, so... That's great. Okay. Now for reals, we're actually gonna go back and do this the right way. Kind of. Okay, let's knock now. Let's be nice people. Because, I mean, this is still someone's property. This is still someone's private property. And if this... I mean, I don't know about, like, Neopian law. But I know if this house was set in America, if someone just barged into your house, there are certain circumstances where someone does actually have the right to just shoot me on sight. So, yeah. I'm gonna knock this time. Oh, cool. We have some lovely artwork. So, I knocked on the door, and it echoes throughout the darkened, tomb-like interior of the old house. But there's no answer. After several minutes, a light flickers on in the corridor, as if beckoning you onward. But no one invited me inside. I mean, I'm not a vampire or anything. I don't need to be invited inside necessarily, but I did rudely walk in the last time, and that got me killed, so... in the worst possible way, actually, so I don't want to take that chance, but I guess I am now. But you see dusty portraits along the walls which depict a family of Corbats. One of these things just doesn't belong here. All of which have a sinister gleam in their otherwise dead eyes. Continue along the corridor. This is too spooky. Go down the steps to the cellar. Head up the flight of stairs to the left. Go into the backyard. Let's continue along the corridor. Let's look at the other lovely portraits. Oh wait, we gotta see, do the lovely portraits blink back at me? No, we barely even looked at them actually. We were just running for our lives. Okay, well, since that's the way we were going, let's go that way too. I remember this dude, and I remember being so creeped out by him because I'm just like, this guy's bug eyes and, oh, just unpleasantness. As you continue along the corridor, suddenly there is an evil roar behind you. Silhouetted in the doorframe is a horrible, misshapen figure, which is briefly illuminated by the lightning flashing behind it. Okay, that, yes, would be terrifying. I'm not talking, we ain't talking about any, like, Igor or, like, Quasimodo or anything. I mean, this is the time where I've been like, I want to run into Quasimodo. Actually, granted, I'd rather run into Quasimodo really any day. Quasimodo's kind of a cool guy. He's a great artist, actually, so yeah. Maybe he'll make me one of his little wooden figure people. Okay. You avoid the shadows and run terrified past a statue. What statue? And come to a scary bladed door at the end of the corridor. You go through the door, slamming it violently behind you. Did I slam it violently behind me, or did somebody else slam it behind me violently? Okay, so you're now in a vast room with stained glass windows and a huge pipe organ. A towering hooded figure at least 12 feet tall stands before you. Oh, you poor fools. This is the last time you will intrude in my house. Come, my beasts, attack. Run away, try to bargain with the hooded figure. I feel like the right answer here is to bargain with him, but... Okay. Run away. Oh, great. You run past the figure down the corridor. Suddenly all around you are not familiar faces, are pairs of glowing red eyes. Great. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Try again. Doggone it. Okay, so let's try bargaining with him this time. I have nothing to give you, sir, except for maybe my services and labor, but let's see. You plead with the evil man. No, please don't hurt us. We're lost and need help. The man stops, chuckles, and says, well, maybe I will spare you this time. For what? I mean, what's the catch? He then smiles viciously as he raises his hands. There is a flash of light, and you have been turned into stone statues. The end. Looks like you're not going anywhere for a very long time. Try again. Okay, fantastic. So I guess this means that we don't go down the corridor. So I have a feeling the cellar is something that's important, so let's go upstairs instead. As you walk up the stairs, they suddenly collapse under you, turning into a slide. That actually sounds fun. I mean, not the fact that it's going to collapse under me and possibly break my legs, but the fact that it turns into a slide is fun. You fall through a trapdoor, which has conveniently opened at the bottom of the slide, and find yourselves surrounded by skeletons. The end. You didn't specify that we were skeletons already, though. So I'm a little confused. But we're not actually dead. We are still sentient and can still move and still leave, it looks like. And actually, now the fact that we're skeletons, sentient skeletons, actually, now we're invincible. I mean, I don't want to be a skeleton. I'm not terrified of skeletons, obviously, from looking at this picture, but I don't do well with anatomy. I don't like anatomy. I mean, I can deal with some medical things, like talking and explaining things medically, but I don't like to see diagrams of things. I don't want to see pictures of your colonoscopy happening. No. To any doctor that ever has to operate on me at all, if I ever need a surgery going in, I mean, the only one I can stay awake for is this. the Nexaplon, that's the only one, because I can't really see what's going on. And it doesn't really necessarily require me to be opened up or feel anything. If I have to be awake for a surgery, you probably might as well just kill me. Because I'm going to give you so much hassle. It's not going to be good for either one of us. So yay, watch that first step. It's a doozy. I guess we're going to be seeing all the endings today, guys. And then we can then prove if there really are any good endings. Or if they're all just bad endings. Okay, so going down the corridor didn't work. Going up the stairs didn't work. It says we can go to the backyard. And I know the backyard obviously is a safe option. But again, the cellar seems to be important. So let's say this is too spooky and go down into the cellar. Okay, huge black rats with gleaming red eyes run up the stairs, squealing and biting at your feet. As you descend into the darkness, there is a smell. Wait, there's the smell of the graveyard down here. The graveyard. I didn't realize after the games were tired they let off a smell. My family also owns a graveyard, and I think you're implying that a graveyard smells bad, and honestly, it doesn't. It's not like you smell the people rotting in the ground. There's a reason why 6 feet is the standard, so that you don't smell them. If you smell them, the Undertaker did something wrong. You come to the end of a tunnel with water dripping from the ceiling and oozing down the walls into stagnant, slime-covered pools at your feet. That's gross, and neither one of you are wearing shoes. The end of the tunnel is blocked by rough-hewn wooden boards which are covered by strange and arcane symbols. Try to break down the boards, go back up the stairs into the house, go back up and knock on the door. Wait, what? I think these two options are just to kind of get you back to where you were prior. So, like, if you want to go back to the inside of the house, or if you want to go back outside the house. I'm gonna try to rip down the boards, though. Celtic runes don't frighten me. Oh. Wait a minute. That ain't a rune. After breaking down the boards, you enter some sort of strange old room. Doggone it, I just remember we didn't play the animation for the last one. Doggone it. But anyways, arcane symbols and ancient texts line the walls. There is something else in here as well. Kitty cats. Hello, kitty cat. So I can go back up and enter the house, go up to the front door, or I can start reading the books. Let's read the book on monsters. Do I only get to read one? That's it? The ancient tome was apparently written by a former owner of the mansion above you. It describes giant, hairy black spiders that live in the mansion. Suddenly there's a horrible noise, the roar of some tormented beast coming down the tunnel towards you. This house is full of spiders. Can't lie, I was kind of... Holy frick. Wolf just sneezed. It scared the crap out of me. But as I was saying, from a creepy old abandoned mansion, I would absolutely expect there to be giant spiders. Or just spiders in general. I guess we're running back up the stairs. Can I go back down into the cellar? Oh, cool. Does this just keep going? Okay, well, this is bothering me, so, break down the boards again. So we read the one on monsters. Let's read the one on treasure. This ancient tome describes a huge store of treasure on the second floor of this old house. Oh, that's why we couldn't go upstairs. Suddenly there's a horrible noise, a roar coming down the tunnel. There is a huge pile of treasure on the second floor. Well, I figured out what the end goal is. Go back up. Go back down into the cellar. And let's read history. You have found a book which describes the ancient history of the old house. It tells of a legend that the house is the abode of an evil monster who has the ability to control the house and sense when people are in it. The book also says the evil monster hates light. Suddenly there's a horrible noise and roaring. Monsters hate bright lights. Why don't I have a flashlight then? You know, after one storm that knocked out power in my entire apartment, and yes, I am going to share this with you guys, not going to share any big details because, granted, whatever. I actually had one time here, like within my first year living in this apartment and the first year living on my own, the power got knocked out for my entire apartment complex. And guess where I was at the time of the power outage? In the bathroom. With my pants around my ankles. I was just glad that there was enough water in the pipe that, you know, I could at least wash my hands. And not be scuzzy and touch everything. Memorable moment for me. Which is now the reason why I either bring my phone into the bathroom with me or I keep a flashlight nearby. I typically just bring my phone into the bathroom with me. Typically because, like, in the mornings and stuff like that, I'm usually taking my weight. And I just record after. Like, I record after I take my weight, but now I just... Because there's no windows in my bathroom. There's none. So, literally, power went out and I was just sitting in complete darkness with my pants around my ankles. And I'm like, this is fantastic. Great. And this was before I also got the cats, too. So I was legit by myself. Okay, so... We've read all the books, and it doesn't really seem like there's anything else. So I think we need to go into the backyard. And I think this time we need to go to the fountain. As you approach it, you realize that at some point in the past, it must have been a very elegant fountain. But that time is long past. You try to gaze into the murky depths of the water, but just when you think you can make something out of the bottom of the fountain, it jumps out and swallows you whole. The end. Bath time already? Try again. Okay. Okay, so now I'm confused because we have literally tried every single option. But I don't know what the right... I mean, the only thing I can think of is maybe if we go down... Maybe if we find the cellar door and we go down that way so that we don't have to break down the boards. And maybe that'll lead us to a different part of the cellar? I don't know. I'm gonna try that then. I'm trying to think if there's any choices that I missed. I can't actually find one. Okay, but I obviously need help. And I think actually Jelly Neo has a page about the haunted house. I was looking for information about this game prior. I wasn't able to find much except for Jelly Neo's thing. But I think they have tips and tricks on how to finish the game. I think there is also a walkthrough on there, so if you want to play this by yourself and you don't want to watch me spoiling it, does not bother me, that's fine. So I'm gonna go to their page, see what the tips are. Maybe there's something about how I can complete the game or get a good ending, get that treasure, hopefully make it out with it. So I'll be right back if I have anything. Okay, I kind of got it, and I see where I went wrong. And apparently, yes, it was something to do with the books, and it was something to do with you need to get the information from the books first to then go back and do something. So we have to continue down the corridor because now we've read the book about the guy who lives here and who hates light. I thought at first it was like I had to get a flashlight or something, but I guess you don't need to necessarily do that just yet. So continue along the corridor, continue past this guy. Now I have the option to shine the torch in his face. You bravely step forward and shine a light in the face of the evil creature. When did we get a torch? I love how there's just this tiny crying child behind the fireplace, and then you got these two just celebrating, like, you know, vigorously as they die. Okay, so I did get a peek at the right answer, but I'm going to do the wrong answer first. To the left. You run past the figure down the corridor. Suddenly, all around you are pairs of... great. Do it again! Okay, so now we need to choose the right side. You guys found my baby, thank you. Hey, and our jalopy's okay. Running down the corridor, you emerge outside into the bright sunshine and run down the hill all the way to your car. The mother of the baby Usual is waiting there, reunited at last. You have successfully completed this adventure at the end. I feel accomplished. This was definitely worth more than, Neo points. Absolutely worth more than Neo points. It seems like that this is just going to keep going. So congratulations, would you like to take a different route? I'm pretty sure I've taken every single route going, so yeah. So, that was The Haunted House. I mean, it was creepy. It was still kind of creepy. I can't lie. Obviously not as creepy as it was when I was a kid. And I've definitely seen and played creepier horror games. But I mean, for Neopets themselves, this still had kind of a creep factor. It's almost like when you know what Neopets was at the time, because obviously this was back when the original creators of Neopets still had control over Neopets and it didn't get bought out by Jumpstart. So when you know what Neopets was like back then, and then you see this, it's almost like this was on another level for me as a kid, because I was like, wow, you actually died in these stories. It wasn't just kind of left up to the imagination a lot of times. It was like, no. Your death was eaten by Toad, or eaten by tigers. There was a lot of being eaten in this one. Were the creators into vor? Was that a thing that they were into? Granted, I guess the scariest thing, or one of the scariest deaths, I guess, is the idea of being eaten alive, so yeah. But still a good game. I'm glad finally I got to the end, because again, like I said, I've never finished this game, and it's even more frustrating that I was right there. I do this all the time with games. I will be right there, I will have the pieces, I will be just right there at the answer, I have it, I almost know I have it. And then I find out no, literally if I just kept going, if I kept trying combinations, I would have eventually got there. But I guess for the sake of time and for the sake of my own frustration and my own, patience, I guess, I'm glad that I just didn't keep going like that. There would have been a lot of space taken up on my computer, but also it would have been a lot of time wasted. But yeah, no, there may be more Neopets games on here, not just the graveyard games, but I think some other ones, as well as maybe Easter egg stuff. So yeah, if you guys have a Neopets game that you remember from way back when, even if it's a HTML game or an old Flash game or something like that, or even an Easter egg that was on Neopets, because there's some Easter eggs on there that I've heard about, but I've never actually gotten myself. yeah, that you want me to revisit or if you want me to find or something like that, you know, leave a comment down below and I will happily get to it. But on top of that, guys, thank you so much for watching and happy season of Spoops. Stay safe out there and, have fun. Bye, guys.